Guys, welcome back to another world base building video. Today, I'm going to be doing some live base tweaking. Now, I was sent in a few different community bases, and I picked through a few of them, and I have about 6 different bases I'd like to go over today. And the purpose of this video is to show you guys how you can tweak some of your own bases, as well as some general different building tips and tricks. Now, we also just had a balance change last Tuesday, so I thought it might be good to give some different tips on things that might have changed, some armies we might be seeing, and just general balance change things that we might want to think about while we're building. So, let's get right into the video. Now, I have about 6 links here, and I tried to pick through some different bases that I think I should be able to give some input on. Now, I'm not the best at different styles, and some things I'm not really the best at building at are with invis towers and some anti-2 bases, so I tried to pick out things that I could give some input on. Now, this is the first base we were sent in, and let's go ahead and take a scout view look real quick. Now, the first thing I notice when I see this base is that we have a lot of open walls. And we also have some open walls here next to the scatter shot. Now, we do have some pretty good rage tower value, but I think we're going to change that around. Now, looking at traps here, I'm not sure how the traps will be, but the first thing that I want you guys to do when you are first tweaking a base is I want you guys to go ahead and remove all of the traps that you see. And that's usually what a lot of builders do, and I know I do it most of the time. So whenever I have a base that I want to try some different things, I tend to pick up all the traps. Now, we're probably going to be replacing these in some of the same spots, and if we pick up some things that we're not supposed to, that's fine too. But, yeah, picking up all the traps helps, and since traps is such a big part of defending on a base, it's good that we make sure we put those in good spots. Now, we picked up most or all the traps that I can see, and I want to start with just closing these walls. I think that at Town Hall 16, having this many open walls, I think it does hinder you a good amount. I'm actually going to change this top compartment up here, so I'm just going to take it apart. And the other thing I notice on this base as well is that we have very large scatter comps. Now, the Barbarian King Giant Gauntlet did get a nerf, just slightly, but we will still see it being viable. Now, one wall break, or that was the point I think this guy was going for with his open walls, was to try to make it hard to wall break in here, but we're just going to restructure it to try to get less value out of different hero suis you might see in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just close up all the walls, give us some stuff to start at here. Now, let's see what I would like to do with this base. I would like to restructure the rage comps. I personally do not like raged ricochet cannons. I think they do better on the edges of the base as an anti-sui or anti-siege barracks type of thing, and also with other defensive heroes, just kind of setting them up. So I think I'm going to move them out of the scatter comp. So we'll go ahead and pick those up now. Let's pick up the scatter shots as well, honestly, and let's just replace... Oh, actually, we might be able to put the scatters back there that I put that wall there. Didn't really notice that. Okay, so now that we have kind of a rough layout of what we want to work off of, I said I did want to change the scatter shot compartments. I think the way I'm going to do that is... We're going to put that wall back, actually, but I want to make these multi-archer towers unreachable to the Archer Queen from the scatter shot comps, because I think we have so much value in that scatter comp from a hero sui. If we have a queen get in there, she might just get a lot of value. And also from just generally we want to make things unreachable from the Archer Queen. So I think I'm going to add that in here and just see how I'm feeling around towards that. One more wall. Put that in there. Okay. So we've added that. Now that does make pretty... Okay. Let's leave that for now, and we're going to take out these storages from the core here, as well as take out these bomb towers. Now, I myself do raged bomb towers sometimes, but I don't think they are the best that you can use your rage compartments for. I'm also going to pick up the expos for now, and the sweepers. I try to eliminate as much chain value as I can in the core, especially since E-dragons are still pretty strong in Legends. So let's see if we can build off of these rages the way we already have them. I'm going to pull these maybe I'm not. I kind of like where they are with the monolith. But what I could do is make the monolith out more, and then let's just see what we're doing here. So we have this whole compartment up top as well that we're trying to change, because I didn't really like the way that was set up, so we're going to go ahead and remove that. And we have these really big rage comps still, so I'm going to go ahead and add a wall here. And I could do that, but we might not have a lot of walls for that, so we're going to go ahead and change that in there. That allows me to put something in here and just kind of splits up the compartment a little bit. The southern monolith compartment area is a little bit funky, but we could make it work. So now for the rage. I do like raged multi-archer towers, which is something we could do. We could also... Actually, you know what? We're going to switch these around. And I know I'm pretty much redoing the entire base here, but I do think these rage compartments need a tweak. So what I think I want to do is, since I added these small compartments up here, I'm going to make them a multi. See if the multi can fit in there. We need to go out one more wall. So we'll go ahead and add a wall there. And what I'm doing is I'm just making these compartments a little bit bigger so that I can fit a multi in there. And we're going to make that a raged multi. And so we have these new powered up defenses. I want to try to make a rage scatter. And I can put these multis out here, and as you can see, it's 4 tiles. The queen can't reach it from outside of it without wall breaking into it. So that allows us to fit a rage here. And I'm not sure if I like that yet, but we'll go ahead and try it. Then we're going to be able to put a rage scatter shot here next to the town hall. And then, actually what we could even do is slide this wall. Let's see if we can do that. We'll slide this compartment down a little bit. Connect these out. Let's just follow this along here, and we're going to see how it goes. Now, for any of you other builders out there, you guys can go ahead and just play around with builds that you make and try out different compartments. I'm not doing anything special here, and I'm just trying to tweak a few different things to my liking, and everyone kind of has their own style. So the reason I just switched that out is now from this compartment the queen cannot get to the scatter shot or the multi here, but this allows me, I can also, you know, slide the multi like over here, or I meant like kind of like there, or we're gonna leave it there for now. But I'm kind of just restructuring how this rage comp is, and then also 2, 3. The scatters are not reachable from that compartment as well, which I do like. That is not symmetrical. What did I do there? Oh, maybe it is. Okay. So, now that I have that, we have these nice little side compartments here. And I kind of have an idea for what I want to do with those. I want to put the ricochet cannon somewhere in this compartment. And I'll show you guys a neat trick that I've been trying out in some of my bases. So for this compartment, since they're on the flanks, I think ricochet cannons are really good. You can do Tesla farms. You can put heroes there. I think it's going to be a really good spot. And also, since we have these rage towers, the natural flow of the troops through the base are going to be kind of like in this. And you're going to have to end on one of the ricochet cannon compartments, which could be very good for you as a defense. Now, we still have to figure out what we want to do in the core, but this is a pretty open core here, so I'm going to try to add a couple walls just to try to isolate the monolith a little bit. Now, that doesn't do a lot with, what is it, root riders, because they break walls, but, you know, this forces some troops through the town hall poison, so we might see, like, super witches or some different heroes kind of go through there. Now, I am spending a lot of time on this base, but I think it's going to be validated here in the end. This is going to allow us, we can then put our next Inferno Tower somewhere over here. I'll put the other Rico over here because I seem to kind of like that. Now up top here we still have our Eagle Artillery to place, and that seems to be the last place we're going to put it. So we could stack it right there, and we have 15 walls. So we don't have a lot of walls, so I'm going to have to figure out where to put some of these at, or steal some from a different place. I think... where can I steal some walls from? I could steal these walls back. I want to just try to do just a big compartment like that. I think that would kind of just even out the base. I think I'm going to have to steal some walls from over here. So what I'll do is I'll steal some of these, and I will turn erase on just to make that a little bit faster. We'll connect it there. Now we are going to try to finish that off. Let's see. I do like the size of those compartments. It allows me a lot of space to do stuff. Let's see. If I close that off like that, does that give me any space? Yes, it gives me one wall. Okay. Good enough for me. So I know a lot of the time when you're building, you're going to run out of walls. So what I like to do is you could kind of just slightly rearrange all your compartments just to try to find some. So let's see. I might have to... That's still an... Okay, we're going to shorten these ricochet cannon compartments by another tile. Just to pull some more walls from it. That's 2. Now we need one more wall. Where can we do that? We might as well pull one wall from this, to be honest. There's not really a lot of spaces to pull stuff from. But let's see. If we pull one from here and we rotate the base around, that is still pretty noticeable, but we might as well just pull one from both sides to make it look symmetrical. And we might use this one wall later. Okay, so now we kind of have our rough footprint for what we're doing with the base, right? We have our double rage. I might have to move this single or multi or whatever I decide to do with that. And I think I will, because I'm going to put the CC here. And I like the CC placement because triple ice golem or double ice golem variations are very nice when you have them fight the troops inside the rages or just kind of in the core where they're going to be dealing with a lot of damage. So I think that's a good spot for that because it has a nice CC timing when fighting this compartment. And since we moved that single out of there, I have a couple options. I can do a teaser eagle and put a single inferno tower in here, which is an option. But I can also do the flip side of that, which is something like that. Which I might be able to do if I'm able to steal a wall from somewhere else. I can make that a single, but... I could also put a multi here and do something like that. Okay, let's just continue building and we'll see where we get to. So we like these side ricochet compartments. And the reason I like that 2-tile gap is because I'm able to fit Teslas and traps in between that. But I do like heroes there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put... Might as well... I think I'm going to put these heroes here. I like heroes sometimes in the core like this because since they're not a defensive targeting troops... Sorry about that. Did not mean to do that. Defensive targeting troops will path around it, but it's still some damage that the troops have to go through. I personally like using bomb towers near my ricochet cannons and also just kind of on the edge of the base. So it's as an entry point. A lot of the time people will spam troops in, and this was big at Town Hall 15 a lot of the time because Hog Riders were so popular. So when you had like giant bombs and bomb towers on the edge, you forced an early Warden Tome, which then they have to fight the Rage Towers in the center of the base. I still think this is a good principle to have because you have Root Rider spam. And also, I know Hog Puppet just got nerfed, but it's still going to be used a little bit. So having those bomb towers there helps when the RC is fighting these ricochet cannons by herself. So I still like that. Okay, so now it's looking like either going to put the multi-archer towers here, which does look good for this base, or we're going to put them here and put them in the rage. Because we need to add rage value now since we've taken most things out of the rage. So I will go ahead and add a ground expo into the rage here. That just helps with some damage around the side of the base. You know, if you have an archer queen here by the ricochet cannon, the expo reaches it. I like that. Which then means I think I'll actually do the other ground bows here, which just adds some more damage, and then we'll do raged multis, archer towers, over here somewhere, which I like that as well. That then allows us to steal some of these walls since we're not using them, and we can use them to expand the eagle compartment and fit that single in there. So we fit the single in here, we can kind of just surgically cut the edge of this and go out from the corners here, up one tile. I think that's even. Yeah, it is. That makes it so that the queen cannot reach this by itself. I'm going to make that a single, just for anti-sui. You can make it a multi or a single. It's kind of up to you. There we go. So we kind of have our rough layout of the base. We still have sweepers to put in. I'm going to go ahead and put the sweepers here in the monolith compartment facing the rages. And then I'll also... Can I fit that wall there? If I find another wall, I could just... We might have to find something else to put in there. I don't like sliding the sweepers that close to the monolith. But anyway, let's go ahead and try to get this base done. And head on to the next one. We have rage here, so we can fit builder huts there. Might as well just put double builder hut, actually. I don't like this new update where it shows everything. That's kind of annoying. But double rage builder hut might do okay. There is some chain value here now with E-drags, but that's what we're going to get with the rage compartment. Now, we have our multis, actually. So, something that we could do is actually move the air heroes here somewhere, which I actually do like that. You see a lot of these isolated multi-compartments with air heroes. So let's go ahead and try that. Something like that. I'll put the other bomb tower over here. Now we have a little bit of space left in the rage. What do we want to do? We could do like King and Warden, which could be kind of nice. Raged heroes are so-so, but they do help. And then we also get the Raged Warden Tower over there, so that could be cool. Then we could make this a completely like no defense multi-compartment and just do like double collectors, something like that, which could be really nice. I do like that so far, so we're gonna steal those two from up there. That also leaves us room to put a lot of traps in there. And it also kind of... I do like this so far. Okay. Alright, let's put our other builder hut here. I think that just kind of helps. Now, we have a lot of defenses here. That reaches Town Hall like that. So I'll just put this one here. Okay, now, for the ricochet compartments. We still have 4 air defenses to place, so we'll put 2 there. And then we'll put the other 2 here. I like those expos there too. I'm gonna put elixir storage. Do I want to? Yeah, I'll put elixir storage there. That just gives some extra HP next to these DPS buildings, like the ricochet cannon, which could help slow down things like the archer queen. And then I'll go ahead and put a wizard tower there, I guess. Can I have all these defenses left still? We'll do mortar on the outside, wizard tower there. Flameflinger is starting to become more prevalent again, and if it becomes even more popular, most bases will have to start defending it. But I'm just going to do light Flameflinger defense until that day comes. We'll put this back here. Now, don't have a lot of splasher on the mono, so I'm going to slide this wizard tower there. We'll go double wiz tower and put the dark storage in front of there. I might as well just do that, to be honest, and then I'll slide this that way. I like that. We'll put the other mortars in front. And then we have 2 defenses left, the cannon and the wizard tower. Could slide those there. One thing I could do is just save a wall like that. Then, now that we saved a couple walls, we put these back here, and we'll put 3 walls there. And switch the sweepers facing up top. Now, the thing that we have to watch out for is this giant arrow placement, which goes through the side of the base. That isn't super common in Legends, but something you might see. So, but we have a lot of DPS here, so we should be able to bait that. Now, up top here, now Not really liking the layout of what we got going on, but let's just see. Okay, we'll slide these air defenses back just to make more space. Put those there. I don't really like how this turned out up top here. But we're gonna leave it like that for now. Now this is kind of the rough layout of the base. I do kind of like it. It's a very different base now, and I have built a lot of bases that kind of look generally like this, which is probably why I turned it into this. But let's see what direction we like this base. I think we'll keep it like this. Now we don't have any more trash buildings to fill up top, so we're gonna have to steal a few of them. Bring this out here. I'm gonna put these inside the walls actually. I just think there's a balance between having defenses in the walls and like outside the walls. But I do have trash buildings still actually. But most of the time right now I try to put them inside the walls is what I was trying to get at. So let's get there. So now this is a general base layout, right? I didn't really try to build anything against anything specific, but I generally like the way it looks. So when you're doing testing and other stuff is when you're going to be tweaking, and that's when your trap placement is become the best. So I usually like to do a general trap placement when I first build stuff, and then I'll tweak as I see fit. So what I would first do here is I want to pick one of these ricochet cannons to trap. Usually, a lot of the time they're both trapped, but if you're going to do a big Tesla farm, you're going to trap one side. Now, most people are right-handed, so they'll probably enter from this right side. And if I switch the Archer Queen there as well, that'll bait it even more, because most people like to go into the Archer Queen side rather than the RC side at first, because then you're ending on the weaker air hero. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and triple Tesla this, and I'm also going to double Skelly Trap it. I'm going to move this one this way. Double Skelly Trap. That leaves us room for a Giant Bomb. Now we have two of these left. I'm going to put one of them by the Monolith there, and I'll put the other one near the Eagle. And I'll also probably put the NATO somewhere up here by the Town Hall. And then maybe put the red bombs here. Actually, we're going to flip that. I think people might try to blimp this side of the base up here on the right. So we'll put the NATO on the right side. And all of this red air bombs here. Two more Teslas. Let's go ahead and just put them around the RC since we're doing a Tesla farm on the left side here. Now, Seeking Air Mines. These are a very big defensive thing. And you want to not put them where people spam into, which everyone spams wherever they want, right? But, excuse me. I try to put them more inside the base now. And I generally do a just even spread, but you can do bait different sides. Like if everyone's air spamming into the right side here, you might want to put a lot of SAMs on the left side so they're ending on them. Because if you're toming on the right side, your troops are going to be immortal. SAMs are going to do nothing. SAMs, Seeking Air Mines. Most of the things that are abbreviated, might have brushed over a few of those. So I like having a couple near the Monolith, so if people are freezing it, there's still a little bit of damage there. We'll put one with the NATO and Town Hall. We'll put two near the Eagle. And then we'll put one in each of these ricochet compartments. And then I'll put one more on the left, just because I think people are going to enter on the right. Now, we have all these giant bombs. The two options you want to do, you either want people to hit them when they start or when they end, in my opinion, when you have all your bomb layouts. So, that means I want to either put them here or here because I think people are going to enter into the ricochet cannons and end on the other one. I already have traps here, so I could put a lot here, which I do like. And there also is a good point to put them in core now, because if people do use overgrowth, and I know it got a nerf, but it's still going to be used, there's still some damage there. So I'm going to go ahead and spread these just kind of here a little bit. I'll just get a rough layout, and then I'll put this other one into the ricochet cannon here. A couple small bombs. Now, small bombs They're not very used much at Town Hall 16, but I like to put them next to the giant bombs just for some extra damage. Now, spring traps, they're used mostly for outside defenses, for defending like super barbarians, and also headhunters, so you can put them around air heroes. But a lot of the time, I like to put them on defenses if I can. There's not really any on the edge. Well, I could put them on these ones. There we go. And then also for Valkyries too. There's not really a lot that can get Spring Trap right now that's very good. Since the Spring Trap is 18, but other than that, you do want to put them between defenses because it can also stop like Hog Puppet. So I'll put 2 on the Monolith here. I'll put 1 here. Kind of just generally fill them in, and all this is subject to change after testing. And sometimes what you can do is if people use Yeti blimps, you can put them next to the NATO in the town hall, so if you bait their blimp, Yetis come out, they get spring trapped. That is something you can also do. Now, here's the finished base. We tweaked. I kind of like it. Haven't tested it, so don't really know how it's going to do. Let's go ahead and go on to the next base here. Now, next base. Let's go on to scout view. We'll go on photo mode. It's another Rage Diamond base, or Rage Poison, actually. I think I see what I want to do on this base. First things I notice, this Poison, I built a couple bases like this. I think it can be used in a little bit of better ways. I don't like the CC placement, and I want to make this a teaser mono, since I don't think this monolith is strong. And I also want to change this bottom compartment. So the idea I have is maybe slide this Rage Comp and the Town Hall together, put the mono up top here, maybe where this king is. Maybe do some slight changes to this ricochet compartments. Maybe slide the scatters down here somewhere, and then put a poison compartment here where this multi is, which adds some extra DPS around this area, and it's kind of its own thing. So, let's go ahead and get started. There's also these asymmetrical sweepers, which that's for the anti-giant arrow lineup, but we don't really need to worry about that. Okay, I'll remove these expos here. Remember what I said, you want to remove your traps first, because we're going to put those in at the end, and they also make a big mess. Remove the king. I don't really like that NATO spot. I understand why it's there, but not a fan personally. I'll turn erase mode on. I don't use it enough. So for tweaking, like, you can pretty much do whatever, and you can take common bases yourself, and also just see like what you want to do with them. And you can take popular bases and turn them into something slightly different that are good, and then it's like, oh, it's a new base someone's hitting. So I'll also change these multi-comps as well. Okay. I also said I want to delete this. So let's go ahead and let's just delete all this stuff down here. And kind of just turn this into something that I like. Because everyone has their own style, like I've said. Okay. So starting up here, I want to get rid of this monolith here. Now we could do something like this. And you could even slide your town hall to the side if you wanted. And make it raged. So we'll think about that. But what I thought about doing was just doing Town Hall there, or here, or wherever, and then putting the CC there. I was just doing some base testing, that's why my CC is named base test high. But anyway. Now let's fix those compartments. We'll remove this stuff here, because I said I wanted to redo those compartments as well. Now we have this. We could do something fun here and do a Raged Eagle with that stuff, which actually, wow, my camera just disconnected. Sorry about that. Let me fix that. 1 second. Alright, there we go. We're back. So, what I want to do is I could do some Rage Scatters in the core as well, and then that allows me to do a multi-poison compartment at the bottom, which I do like. But since I don't want to change too much on this, I could just keep the scatters where they are. We'll see what we want. Okay, I have an idea. I'm gonna remove these walls out of tile, so I'm gonna have to delete all this stuff up here. We'll delete these walls. And I actually was just going to slide them out one tile like so, which allows me to then... Wait, what was I doing? Was I doing... I already lost it myself. I forgot what I was... Oh, I was going to make core expos. I don't know why I was going to do that. But I think... No, we're not doing that. So let's just keep that roughly there for now. And then we were going to put monolith here. Let's actually, now that I think about it, we'll do... Make the... I don't like that either. Why am I so lost? Let's do that. Actually, here's a little trick that I like doing sometimes. If you take your base and you have walls like this, if you put the wall in between them like that, the monolith hides it. So some people might think that it's open, which doesn't really do that much, but it's just a trick. Now, I did want to close this like so, but I guess I can move this wall in towards there, but we'll have to address this in a sec. Okay. Damn, these are taking a lot longer than I thought they'd be. So, okay. Now we have our general layout of what we want to work on. CC's there. Okay. Let's do Rage Eagle. I think that'd be kind of fun on this base, so let's just try it. That means we can do a multi there, right? And then we can put a poison here. Remove these. Remove these. Is the scatter shot reachable from there? 2, 3. No. Okay, we'll add a corner wall there. And let's try the scatter shots there. I kind of like them there. Add some extra DPS. I'm not sure if I like this rage comp. I could slide it up more. Alright, let's just roll with it. We'll add 2 expos. We'll just, actually, yeah, we'll put the expos back there. I thought about doing this and having the scatters like here, but I don't like that either. So what we're going to do is we will make a like double expo thing over here somewhere. I kind of like that. That's kind of fun. We'll put an air hero here. And then we'll put our ricochet cannon like here. Remove these. And we'll slide our base down one tile, which allows me to move this stuff out eventually, so I can slide that out one tile, like so. And then 2, 3, wait, 1, 2, 3. And just make that kind of unreachable for the queen, because we're going to set up a nice little area over there. What am I even saying? Anyway, ricochet cannon back here, and then make it symmetrical, right? What did I do there? To do that? Yeah, I did. Then I made that like that. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but now we have our poison tower here, and you want to make sure you have some damage around there because it can be a tricky compartment to end at. So we have a choice here. We can either put our heroes next to the monolith or down here in the poison tower. and make like a teaser mono at the end, which I do also like that. Uh, so actually, wait a minute. I could restructure this. If I move this wall here, make the eagle unreachable from the scatter comp. And then I could even put the multis like this, and then put the multi-archer towers there. Now that's not getting peak value, but it's getting enough. uh, Here, we'll put this. Not really like that. It's not symmetrical, but sometimes you have to do a little bit of asymmetrical things to get to your liking. Okay. Is that symmetrical? No. There we are. Okay. I like this a little bit better now. It's kind of cool. The reason I did this is because it makes the multis have a dead zone here, just so we'll put some walls there actually. Now, can I start saving on walls anywhere? Because I'm already going to be having a problem. Hmm. Hmm. Is that wall doing anything? 1, 2, 3. It is. I'm gonna make that a ground bow. Okay. Anyway, we have a rough layout now. I know what I'm kind of doing. I'll slide those in a tile. The reason I'm putting the air heroes here is because these are kind of some high DPS compartments as well. So we can have the air heroes a little bit in, and then also defensive pathing thing, they won't target there. So I'm going to put the Grand Warden there as well. And I'll actually put the bomb towers over here next to the ricochet cannons again. I do think those pair nicely. We have our sweepers, which could do something like this. Or we could do something like that. And make them like this. Generally, that's a good way to go to. The eagle will be reachable from there, but it's okay. We're going to let that slide. Now, we have this poison here, so we want to make sure we add some more damage. So what can we do? We can add 2 wizard towers. We can slide this out and just make this pointy. And then add like... Actually, you know what we could do? Something fun. We could do the merge defenses here, or the combo defenses. Like so. And then put like a builder hut. And then we'll do like... Move that. We'll do wizard tower, and then since these are kind of isolated, we'll put some air defenses there. Now, one tip for placing air defenses, try not to make them chain value at all for E-Dragons. And then also try to have a defense cover in front of them so you can't directly target them with balloons. So I'll put 2 archer towers like that. Now we're gonna maybe have a problem with Flame Flinger on this base at the south end. So we could slide these here and then put the multi-mortar there and do some asym things, which I don't like that. We'll just do a double mortar down there that also adds some extra just defenses. Now on these corners here, I'd probably go air defense up here next to the ricochet cannon, and also helping on the town hall compartment. Maybe slide them in even. And then we can put a storage next to there. We'll bring... Where's that other wizard tower? There it is. Okay, we have 3. So we'll do maybe like 2 in there. Do I have any walls? No, I don't have any walls. Okay. Let's do... We'll keep the bomb tower there. I wanted to put a... I guess we can do mortar there. We could do storage there, and then mortar in front. Something like that. That helps on these corners here for Flame Flinger. And then up here, we can just add some wizard towers next to the monolith, and then we'll put one up top here with our 2 cannons. Maybe something like that. Can I slide? Now I want to make a nice kind of tricky area up here, which could be hard for attackers. Like, what I mean by that is, sorry, like a Tesla farm. I'm trying to say that leave room for traps so that people might think there's a Tesla farm here. That's what I'm trying to get at. So we'll do something like this, which has a lot of room for traps, and I like that. Then we could even just put some builder huts here next to the town hall. Now, the thing I'm curious about, which I typically don't do, is I try not to have too much defense chain value around the town hall so that troops can't really path into core. But I do have that right now. So I could... Why don't I just add a storage there? I don't like that either. Oh, that's even gross. It's more gross. Okay, I need some walls for this core. So where can I steal some walls from? That's going to be the key. If I can steal some walls from anywhere. I could steal them from here. That wasn't really doing anything. Except making that unreachable. But it's not anyway, so whatever. I guess we'll put some builder huts there. I guess that's not a bad spot. We'll just leave those there for now. We would always tweak that if we saw that to be a problem. And I need 2 more walls for that core there, because I want to make that kind of isolated. So let's just steal these corner walls here. Those are making the expos unreachable from outside, but it's okay. That's not a big deal. We'll put a storage in front of this air defense. No particular reason, but just adding some more stuff, more DPS, not DPS, some more HP buildings in front of this scatter. We'll put another one there, actually. I like that. We'll double space it. And then we'll put these drills in the corners. Now, here's our kind of almost finished base. It looks okay. I'm not that happy with it, but let's go ahead and start filling in some of these open gaps. Now, there is some techniques you can do while filling in trash buildings, and I'll go over them quickly. If you're trying to, I don't know, it's all just personal preference and what works for people, but these like storage not storage buildings, but barrack buildings have less HP. So if you're trying to force pathing, you can put them in places where you want them to break quickly. I don't have any examples. And then dark drills have more than regular collectors. So you can put those in more places where you need more HP. And what I mean by HP is, like here in front of the monolith, I have these storages. So they take longer to break. So if you have a queen or something, it takes them longer to get there. So you can play around with the how much HP these buildings have to help defend some things. So if you didn't know that, it's one thing you can know. It's pretty neat. Most of the time on bases, you want to go all the way out to the edge if you can. On this base, it doesn't look like I'm going to get that on every corner. I'm going to remove that. We'll just put that up top there in the corner. We'll slide this in and put this other thing there. Okay. Whew, Time for traps. I am spending way too much time on these bases when I was just trying to do light tweaks, but it's okay. Once again, I do like these Tesla farmed ricochet cannons. I'll do this one on the left side here. Typically try to do left over right. Like I said, people are left, or they're mostly right-handed. There we are. We'll do double giant bombs in between these things here. And we'll put NATO by the town hall again. And then we'll also put some seeking air mines here, because if dragons path into here, they most likely won't be underneath Tome, and they'll freeze that. So we'll use some of the same principles we did last time. Put a couple there. Then we'll put... Actually, no. Remove these. Then we'll trap the monolith pretty hard, because I did want to do that. We'll do 2 Teslas there. And then we'll do, like, skeleton, skeleton, seeking air mine, seeking air mine. Giant bombs, I guess. Some spring traps. Kind of just adding some more stuff around the monolith. Also, if you made it this far, thank you. We have one more base. We'll try to get through that one quickly, because this video is starting to get pretty long. So let's go ahead and just put these rest of these seeking air mines around the base. We'll try to fit these red air bombs here next to the town hall. Slide this over here. We'll just try to slide everything else in. Now, we are going to have these links, so make sure you guys check in the description if you'd like to try out any of these bases for yourself, and you know, let me know down in the comments below any feedback you have, and also anything you'd like to see from me. I do have a Twitter account. You're welcome to follow that, as well as Discord. You can always reach out to me for any questions you may have regarding base building. And there's our second base. Now, it is kind of a common style that you might see, but I like it. I think it has some general principles that we like. We can also try to move them around and see what we like. I like this one. The reason I like this is because I have these traps up top here. We'll go ahead and keep it on this sideways angle. Nice. On to the third base here, which we will try to get through quickly. Alright guys, well I ended up scrapping this last base here. I just decided that I didn't like how it was turning out with it, and it was kind of a waste of time. Now, the video should be around 45 minutes with those first 2 bases, and I think that's a lot of time still. Anything longer might be looking a little bit bad. But I want to thank you guys for sticking around if you made it to the end of the video. Don't forget, leave any comments down below. I have X, I have Discord. Feel free to reach out to me on anything you see. Thanks for staying, welcome, and thanks for watching this world base building video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and come to World Base Building for all your base building needs. Thank you guys. Have a good day.